Some of the things that we don't do, we resign that to, I didn't know how to do that, or I could not get that done. There's no excuses for those things. Outsource that to artificial intelligence and have more courage to do the things that you really feel like you should be doing. How long would it take? It was like it would take about, on a low end, $800 to $3,000 per episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is another one of my live videos because I am in the process of recording some really cool things for the book that I just wrote. My name is Ronsley, and in this episode, I will show you some really cool things that you can do with artificial intelligence, including if you're a podcaster, especially today's episode is all about podcasting and podcasting plus AI. It's like a match made in heaven, isn't it? Let's get into that. Hey, it's Ronsley. Welcome, you AI geek, to Amplify AI. Consider this podcast your digital compass for you, the business leader wanting to use artificial intelligence ethically and in alignment with your brand's identity to achieve your business goals. Leading and running a business in the world of AI is like solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. But this podcast and I are here to make that easy. Every episode is a masterclass in unlocking techniques for using AI as a business leader, founder, owner. Thanks for being here. Let's learn. Today, we're going to talk about a really cool tactic. It is for podcasts, how to get found more. I'm going to show you how to get found by optimizing titles, how to get your descriptions done, show notes, all with the intention of using AI to get found more. And there's a bunch of steps. We're going to research keywords, how to incorporate the keywords, how to reflect on the episode's content and make sure that that's reflected in what you're creating, how to create detailed show notes, and how to optimize for search engines. We're also going to cover a really cool technique called RAG. And if you don't know what it is, it's retrieval augmented generation. In the news, we have Neuralink. I want to talk about that and break it down and show you how. And then I'm going to show you this really cool tool called Grok. It's fast, it's free. So I'm going to cover some news first, and then I'm going to show you the tool that is like literally blowing people out of the water, especially if you're going to create something conversational in terms of AI for your business. These recordings are going to be edited and going to be on the podcast. Amplify AI is the podcast. If you go search for it, you'll find it on all your favorite podcast platforms, on YouTube, Spotify. But there's a really good episode that you should check out, number 67. It's a compilation of success stories of business owners that have used artificial intelligence in their business and how they've used it. And it might give you some ideas on how you can currently use it in a way that's actually useful for your business, and it actually helps you grow the business or grow the brand or grow the revenue that you're trying to create. Let's get into some news. And today it's about Neuralink. If you don't know what Neuralink is, it's like this brain chip. By the way, Neuralink is an Elon Musk company. Let me just go to the actual tweet, and I want to give the Daily AI a shout out because that's how I found out about it. So it's Elon Musk's brain chip company called Neuralink. It's actually showed this video of its patient being able to control a computer and play video games using only his mind. Let me play this video because I think it's important. And let me...
Yeah, so I love playing chess, and so this is one of the things that y'all have enabled me to do, something that I wasn't able to really do much the last few years, especially not like this. I had to use like a mouse stick and stuff, but now it's all being done with my brain. Y'all can see the cursor moving around the screen. That's all me, y'all. It's pretty cool, huh? So one of the first times y'all gave me complete control over this, I actually stayed up until, I don't know, like 6 a.m. playing Civilization 6. It was worth it, I guess is the best way to put it. I had basically given up on playing that game just because of how it's just a lot, and I have to worry about a lot of things, getting pressure sores and things like that. So I just wasn't really able to play it as much as I wanted to.
Fascinating, right? So it's interesting how these kind of use cases are going to become. I would encourage you very highly to go check it out. So that's the news. I want to get into Grok because I think this is something that you should all check out. Grok.com. Again, it's free. I'm not paid anything, but it is ridiculously fast. And what I want to show you here is it is an independent sort of website, but it uses something called LPUs versus GPUs, which makes it super fast. And you can use any of these models. So when you open ChatGPT, for example, you're only using GPT-4 or GPT 3.5, which is built by OpenAI. Llama 2 is built by Meta, which is a Facebook, and these are both open source models which continuously keep getting upgraded. So to give you an idea, what these mean here is Llama 70B means the model is trained on 70 billion parameters, and it's got a context size of about 4,096 tokens. So about 3,200 words, 2,500 words maybe. And to give you an idea, so the size of what it remembers every time you put in a prompt or multiple prompts is about 3,000 words. Now, Mixtral, on the other hand, is trained on 7 billion parameters, or 8 times 7 billion parameters, and which is slightly lower than that in terms of training data size. But it has a higher context window, so it does more. So if you want to give it more data in your prompt, then you use a higher context sized model. And if you want to use Llama 2, then you can use Llama 2. But I want to show you this LPU and how quickly this does something. Let me go back to what we did yesterday. So yesterday we ran this prompt in ChatGPT. And what I want to show you is maybe both of these prompts running side by side. So I will pull this out. I'm trying to show you how this prompt will work on both sides. So yesterday we did this prompt on analyzing your audience. I'll start a new ChatGPT window and I will paste this prompt in here and I will paste this prompt in Grok. So let me hit this first and go send message. Now I wanted to see how quickly this finishes that. It literally took 3.4 seconds and ChatGPT is still producing output, which is interesting because what I asked for as well is not what it gave me. Because in ChatGPT 4 here, for example, like yesterday, I think it must be down because some of this stuff is not coming up. So I think ChatGPT must be not functioning properly because I asked for 5 elements in each and it didn't really do that, while yesterday it did that properly. That's another thing to remember. A lot of the times when you're giving some instructions, it doesn't mean like it's going to get it right the first time. That's why human intervention is so important. I want you to see the difference in speed, okay? And I want you to see the difference in how quickly this is done. It actually got the whole thing correct and it gave me 5. So what I'm asking for it is, like, I run a coaching and training community for business owners and leaders to use AI ethically to grow revenue, brand, audience, and operations, right? So I'm giving it that context and I'm like, can you please brainstorm with me my audience? So it's done a bunch of things, which is audience pain points. Give me 5 audience pain points, and it's given me the main one. It's lack of expertise. It's just like how initially at some point there were social media experts who just had a Facebook account, or podcasters who had their own podcast and just decided to be a create podcasts for others. And I'm probably in that boat as well. But making sure that you get the expertise from the right people is probably something that I would just encourage everyone. But anyways, you see how fast that is and how fast Grok is. What I want to do right now is get into this tactic, which is how podcasters can use AI to optimize titles, descriptions, and show notes for search engines and to grow audience. So firstly, I want to say a bunch of things. I've been in the podcasting game for a long time, right? Actually, one of the things that I didn't want to do is go from being the podcast guy to being the AI, and very reluctantly decided to be the AI guy, because before I was a podcast guy, I was the computer science guy, the software engineering guy that kind of had a whole career in programming, in building, in doing really cool things with software and hardware. After my master's degree here in Brisbane, was doing software testing for a company that allowed they were creating software and hardware for tractors to wake up in the morning, plow the field, and sort of come back and park itself using auto guidance and GPS. And now that's in cars, which is quite frequent. So today, so podcasting is huge. And I've built a lot of like really cool connections, and podcasting has changed my whole world, and it will continue to. And nothing stops. That's why even me doing this, I've normally done interview style shows. So me doing these solo ones live is nerve-wracking for me, actually, if I'm honest about it. But it's something that I'm learning. These are the reps that I'm putting in. I'm learning to do, and I understand that it will take time to even keep a live audience engaged. But so today it's all about being found. You create all this audience, and you create all this work, and you create all this content, and how do you get found? And it's extremely hard because there's so much of different things out there. So the idea here is that we want to make sure that when your visibility is not reduced in search results, and to make sure that your new listeners discover your podcast. We want to make sure that you're not missing out on organic traffic, and you're not failing to communicate the value and relevance of your episodes to potential listeners. If you don't know how to apply AI, it takes so long to complete. The idea is here to be found in search and be discovered and improve in search rankings, get increased organic traffic, and be better in communicating the value of your episode. So there are these 5 steps that I think we can follow, and we can do it really well, and we can do it quickly. One of the things that I wanted to mention just before we get into the steps is just to avoid these 3 things, which is keyword stuffing, or using irrelevant keywords that don't match your content, neglecting to update or optimize older episodes descriptions. So now that I'm teaching you this, you can go back, if you've had a podcast for a while, especially optimize the episode descriptions and the show notes. Learning what you did down, you can do it at speed using AI. And also don't write, vague and misleading or over lengthy titles and descriptions. So let's start with researching relevant keywords for your podcast topic. Writeflow, this is one of the AI programs that I wrote. It can do ideation, content, SEO, email, social strategy, but I'm looking for SEO and doing keyword research. Let me give you an example. So we are podcast, which is a very specific type of service that we offer, which is streamlined production. It's cost effective. We have a business owner, that a podcast host, that submits an episode or recording, and we do the editing, repurposing, and publishing, and it's all done. So basically you just do the recording and we do the rest. So I want to get some keywords for this, and I've done this before, but I'll show how it works here on the Writeflow. I select that and I go into SEO and I say do some keyword research, and I'll show you what it did yesterday. It kind of said, well, these are some keyword clusters, and if you were going to create a title, the reason for running something like this, and you can obviously run this if you have a good prompt, you can run this in any AI model. So I just ran this right now, and I'll show you what it did. Every time it runs, it obviously will give you different results depending on that particular run, but it did give us similar results. So it gave us a bunch of keywords here. What I want to do is show you that I have some show notes from a recent episode that I did. This is a PDF of an edited conversation that I had, episode 355 of We Are Podcast, and reduced down, and it's been transcribed. I need to create these show notes and a title and description and all these things for this transcript that I just have. So I'm going to go into Claude AI and I'm going to open a new chat, but I'm going to upload this PDF into the chat. And this is the prompt. And I'm saying this is my PDF. It's my transcript of the podcast. I want you to help me write show notes for this episode. And I have a certain structure that I want you to follow while you're doing it. I want to show you why that is important, because when we're talking about the different steps, right, we're talking about here how you want to write compelling, clear, and concise titles and descriptions that accurately reflect the episode content. So that's what we're doing right now. We first researched a bunch of keywords using Writeflow, which again, you can use any AI tool to research keywords at speed today, which would take a whole bunch of time. But it kind of generated my show notes extremely well. But what it's not done is it has not incorporated this keyword that I asked for. So I'm going to copy this keyword and I'm going to say, this is amazing. Can you keep the intent and content the same and see if you can incorporate this keyword in the show notes. Do not overuse it. Make it relevant. Make the show notes searchable for this keyword and optimized as well. I first used a prompt and said, break down the topics. This is the way I want you to write my show notes. This is my tone that I want you to highlight the guest and who he is, what he's been doing. It's picked that up and even put that in the top and given me 10 takeaways of what's happening, what we cover in the conversation. So then it's done this for optimized. See how it's added these now in here? So this is great. So it's got now, this is amazing. Can you now help me title this episode? Make sure it isn't too long, but it helps the reader want to listen to the episode, and the title is also keyword optimized. Make a list of 7 to 10 options and pick the best one. Think this through step by step and give me your reasoning. So what I wanted to do is not just give me one answer. I wanted to go through this brainstorm process. These are 7 to 10 ideas for what the title should be. Here is the analysis of each title, and it's going to pick the favorite one: podcasting mastery, streamlined production, and business growth secrets. Now, you see how this can be done at speed, right? Now, what we've done and how long would it normally take to do this kind of research? I asked it, if I had to do this without AI, how long would it take? It was like, it would take about, on a low end, $800 to $3,000 per episode. And it would take between 5 and 12 hours a week to do all this if you had to do it manually, which is insane because we've not done it to this extent, but to do it at that speed is kind of crazy. Now you have your podcast show notes title in a way that communicates your episode really well. It also does it by optimizing it for a particular keyword that you want to get found for. So making sure that you're doing all that, go and check out this episode. It is a bunch of ways that other business owners have used AI in their business, and you might get some ideas on how that might work. Also, go check out the podcast. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about artificial intelligence, and our job as business owners and leaders is to use it in a way that reduces human cognitive load, increases creativity and collaboration and courage. Because some of the things that we don't do, we resign that to, I didn't know how to do that, or I could not get that done. And now there's no excuses for those things. So you can actually outsource that to artificial intelligence and have more courage to do the things that you really feel like you should be doing. Thanks for joining me. Check out the podcast. Until next time, much love. Hey, AI Geek. Thanks for listening. Your job doesn't stop here. I want you to lend your voice to the conversation. So you can join those conversations, discussions, new trainings, new recordings, and the rest of the AI Geeks by going to aigeeks.co. Also, share this podcast with a friend, another potential AI geek. Until then, much love.